we hit the 2-year mark with the 944. I want to thank everybody that's followed me and subscribed to the channel and taken the journey with me. I had the original goal of trying to get it done in a year. I had a feeling it was probably going to take 2. So we just hit 2 years. I'm really close. I'm waiting on just a few more things to get everything kind of just buttoned up and then go and get an inspection done on it and hopefully get it out on the road. But real close to that 2 years. So I'm hoping I've got some time off here that I'm not going to be able to work on it, but hopefully we can have this up and going by Thanksgiving and inspected and out on the road. And we'll drive it through the winter. I mean, we won't drive it in the snow. Maybe we will. We'll see. But, this is not going to be a snow car, but there's no reason we can't drive it in the winter here. We don't get that much snow. So, hope you enjoy this 2-year episode. It's just kind of, some of the things that I've been working on over the past week. I think this is episode 87 or 88 maybe, that I've done over the last couple of years. So try to keep up with it as best I can. Like I said, it's not always a tutorial on how to do it. It's more of a diary on my journey and everything. Some of the things that I did not see online, I tried to show you guys a little bit more in depth. But I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so I put a piece of tape, double-sided tape, on the piece itself, and then another piece on the actual car, and I pressed them both really good. So we're going to take this off and see if that stays. So I'll show it after I take all this off. And there you go. It stayed pressed up against there, so that's good. So now I'll just have to glue this vinyl down as best I can all the way around, and then we can get the seals in. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's probably as good as it's going to get. But that worked. So I'll do the same thing on the other side now. All right, so we got most of this laid down. Maybe I'll put a little more there. I thought I had that down. Just enough so I can get the seal in. The window in. So I'm going to try using the string method. If you guys want to see a more detailed view, you can just go online. There are videos everywhere about this. So we're going to try to get this first window seal in, or first quarter in. All right, well, that didn't work because the string wasn't strong enough, because as soon as I started pulling it, it snapped. So I guess you need like the coated twine or something. Yeah, maybe even like a speaker wire might work pretty well. We'll see if I have any extra speaker wire downstairs. All right, first quarter window is in. Didn't quite catch this part, but oh well. It's not even up all the way against it, but it's all in. And I am satisfied with that. So, the other one we're just waiting. It's still clamped. Hopefully that'll hold, and we can get the next one in. So I've got to put the trim piece around, I guess, still. Let me do that. All right. Number 2 is in. So guess what? We can take that off the list. So we're starting to put the interior back together. And I've run into a problem. That last screw back there on that side, I can't get it in. I can't seem to find the hole with it. It's getting really, really aggravating. So I'm going to stop for the night. And then maybe we'll work on this side next. I mean, part of it is that top piece there needed to go in first. I put the A-pillar in first, but it actually is that piece that goes in first, then the A-pillar. So, hopefully this other side will be easier, but yeah, I just can't find the screw hole. So, It's getting kind of aggravating, so I'm just going to take it easy the rest of the night. Then we'll work on the other side, and then we'll work on getting that in, and then we can work on getting the mirror in and go from there. All right. Glove box and footwell are in. Problem is, you can see, it doesn't want to sit flush because the leather is too thick. So I've noticed that on a few things here. By putting that leather on it, it just makes it a little too thick and things just don't fit quite right. So I'm gonna have to look into that and see what I can do to try to get that to fit a little better. But it's closed, it's in for now. So that, with the exception of the steering wheel, is all of the interior. I gotta find my clips. I actually ordered a couple because I can't find them. I don't remember if I had them or if they were broken. I think they were broken, and that's why I don't have them, but I don't remember, so I just ordered a couple more. But that's all of the interior with the exception of the door cards back in. All right, so we're getting ready to install the mirror. I just put in, I just glued the metal part down. So we got to let that dry for 30 minutes. Then we can attach the mirror, and then I can attach that. I've got some excess wire here for a couple of things. One will be for the mirror. Two, this is the microphone for the Bluetooth. Once I get my clips for my sun visors, I'll be able to loosen it. That'll drop enough and I can get this stuff tucked back up and in. I didn't exactly know where this was going to perfectly go, so I wanted to leave enough that I could get it in, knowing that I could go ahead and tuck it up and underneath after. So, yeah, we're moving right along. All right, mirror is in. And backup light works. Sweet. All right, so steering stalk's all back together. So what I had to do was, in order to get this on, you actually need to put this on before you put the ignition housing in. Because this needs to go up and over it, and then it all needs to slide in together. So, because I had it all in, and I couldn't get this part in there. So that's what needs to be done. So this needs to be the last thing to go in, and then the bottom cap can go on. So, but that's all in. The only thing I'm waiting on is my wiper relay for in here, and my horn isn't working. I can hear the relay clicking. What I did was I jumped from here just to here, because that's what it does. The steering wheel plugs in. You can hear the relay click, but the horn doesn't go. So I don't know if that horn relay is bad. It very well could be. All right, so I'm checking on my horns, and I'll see if I can do this. But you can see it does get voltage down there. So it's not the wiring, it's not the relay, it's the actual horns it's the horns themselves that are bad, so I'll have to replace them. All right, so this is for the back hatch. Remember, it had that stuff on it that I couldn't get off. So I just ended up taking a Dremel with a sanding disc on it and just sanded it off. You can see there are some ruts in there, and then I took some 220 and just kind of smoothed it down a little bit. I'm hoping once it painted, you really won't notice any of those ruts. But that got it off at least. So I have that to paint. And I also have to clean up, I got to find it, I think it's up there, the trim for the windshield as well. So, and then I've got to paint that as well. And then I've got to paint the doors still. So I might tape that off and do that. I think that's going to be tomorrow's job, get everything prepped. But this I need to paint because that looks really bad. So we will work on that. All right, so we've cleaned all this up. We cleaned up the windshield also. So I'm just getting my first coat on here. It's flash time 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. And this is what I'm going to use. It's this Ultra Trim, or Trim Black Ultra. So I'll do those, and then I'll do all my other trim pieces as well. And hopefully those will come out pretty good. So like here's the windshield. So I didn't take all the paint off. I just I scuffed it up with 220 is what I did. Same thing with the wipers. And we'll just let it and see how it does. It was just to give something for it to hold on to. Looks like it's doing pretty good so far. Well, that sucks. I must have somehow missed the spot or something, and it dripped down in between the tape and got on the paint when I wiped it off. That's what happened. So that's just something else I'm going to have to fix. But I got touch-ups to do all over the car, so I'll just have to touch that up when I do that. But I was really careful about taping, but I guess, I don't know, it just didn't. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. But, yep. So, hopefully I got this one taped off, as I did this door. So, hopefully that's taped off correctly then. Alright, so here's the parts that were painted yesterday, and they came out really nice, actually. And then I've got those. So they came out pretty good. Okay, I noticed as I was taking my horn out, this part over here, this comes down and would attach to here, so to strengthen that a little bit. This one's broken. The other side needs to be attached. It's not broken, but it's kind of bent. So I've got to do some work. I got to figure out how I'm going to get this attached. I might just do like an L bracket and just put it through there and maybe tie it in up here a little bit higher. At least that'll stabilize it. All right. So we've got that just all fastened back up. So now that's more solid there. And then this other side, it was bent a little bit, but it was still there. So that one was able to just go right back in the way that it should. So that valance is on. All right, we get to mark a few more things off the list. There is the front window trim is back in. And the rear hatch. I guess I could try to clean this up a little bit, because that does look kind of crappy. We'll work on maybe trying to get that cleaned up. Maybe when it drops down, when I get it off the blocks, the wheels should be here hopefully tomorrow. Then I can drop it down, then I can put the door on. I don't want to put the door on until it's on its wheels, not when it's up on the blocks. Because the car twists a little bit, because that door over there is a little bit harder to get open and closed. You can feel it hit the striker when it's up on the blocks, but when it was on the wheels, it was fine. So, yeah, I guess the next thing is going to be maybe working on the paint job. Might start trying that. All right, so there's the first attempt. So what I had done was, there's my razor blade, and I just put some duct tape on it so I wouldn't scratch where I didn't want to, and I was able to just really concentrate right on the raised parts. So they're still a little bumpy, but the drips are gone and the wave is kind of gone. So what I'll do is, then I've got a wet sand. I did a little up here too. I got to wet sand it. So I'm going to try that here. I'll do 600, 1,000, then 1,500. Just real lightly. And hopefully that takes that out. All right, so there it is after actually going to 2000, I still feel a little bit of the ridge. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to cut it and buff it and see how that comes out. Hopefully that, I think all this will go away, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so you can still see the runs. And it's just dull. It's definitely different. It's more of an orange peely, and it's just not as shiny. And you can see the scratch marks. I even went down to 2000. And I can still see the scratch marks from the sandpaper if you're looking really, really, really close. I mean, if you're just looking from a distance, it's not bad. But I can't imagine doing this whole car like that. So now I've got to seriously wonder what I want to do. I might just leave the drips in it, wash it, cut with the compound, and polish it and just leave the drips in instead of trying to take them out. I mean, that's okay, but it is not... That is not as good as I thought it was going to be. I can't believe there's still scratches in there after 2000. And then you can kind of see white little dots in the drips, where the drips were. So, I mean, while they are not as noticeable from further away, I mean, if you get close enough, you can see it. I don't know. I'm going to have to decide, make a decision. I probably am just going to leave it. And that's just the way it'll be. It's just not perfect. Alright, so we're going to work on just cleaning up the outs, or the inside of the door cards, I guess, or the outside of the door cards, depending on how you want to look at it. So this is what it looks like before. So we'll just get going on cleaning it. There it is, cleaned up. Not too bad. And there's the other one. I might do another application of the Restore. Might put that on there, just see how it does, and kind of leave it and let it soak in. But yeah, it came out pretty good. All right, so now that I got that painted, I'm trying to get this window seal in, and man, I am just struggling to try to get this in. I just can't imagine it'd be that hard. Not to mention, it looks way too long. I mean, and we're not talking even close. I mean, this is all the way down. This is good. This is right up in the corner where it's supposed to be. This side fit fine. I don't know if they just cut them long just so they're sure that they have enough. And I'm supposed to trim that. I don't know. But, man, I'm struggling to get this in. Every time I get one side in, like the back side, the front side pops out. And, I mean, it's just a struggle. We'll just kind of keep working at it. So, seal is in. It's in there pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Boy, that was not easy. And I ended up having to trim just a fraction off the end. It was just a little bit too long. And I had already had it mostly done by the time I asked for help. And people said use hot soapy water and kind of compress the seal as you're putting it in, and that'll take up a little bit of the slack. But I was able to trim just a tad off, and it was good enough to get it in there. So that one is in. We'll put the next one in when we put the door on. I think it's definitely going to be easier with the door on than with it off. So I'll put the door seal on the other one, but I think I definitely am going to wait to put the window seal in until it's actually on the door. So, yeah, success. Took a lot of work, though. Boy, it's just much harder. But I used WD-40, and as soon as I used it, it did go in a lot easier. So, I'm curious, though. See how this popped up a little bit? And I push it back, and it pops back up. I would think that seal would go under it, but if it does, there's no way for it to clip on it. So, I don't know. And to me, it seems like water would run in there. So, we'll have to wait and see about that as well. But that's the seals on this door complete. So I ordered my horns, and I was so happy they were going to be here today because I've got to put the plug back in. I drained the radiator so I could put antifreeze in it because I was just running distilled water and flushing everything out. So my horn showed up today, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be able to do that tonight. And that's what was in the box. So they put the wrong thing in the box. So it's a timing belt, water pump, and camshaft gaskets for a Toyota or a Lexus. So that does me no good, and now my horns won't be here until Friday. So that was A1. Not real happy.